My beloved child, I have seen you sitting in the quiet moments of the night, your heart heavy with a burden that feels as old as time itself. I have watched you count your last resources with trembling hands, your mind racing through a labyrinth of numbers, wondering how you will bridge the gap between what you have and what you need. But there is something I want you to understand today. That weight you carry is not merely your own. It is an echo of a frequency that has resonated through your bloodline for generations. I have heard the silent cries of your fathers and the hushed prayers of your mothers, all of them trapped in a cycle of survival, always reaching for a shore that seemed to recede as they approached it. This spirit of poverty, this relentless shadow of scarcity that has followed your family name, is being addressed by my hand this very moment. I am here to tell you that the contract of lack is being torn up in the courts of heaven. You were never meant to live in the narrow hallways of just enough. You were created to walk in the wide, sunlit fields of my abundance. I see the anxiety that knots your stomach when a bill arrives, and I see the way you have learned to shrink your dreams to fit the size of your current reality. But I am the God of the stars and the oceans, the one who clothes the lilies and feeds the birds of the air, and you are worth so much more than they. This day, I am cutting the invisible cords that have tied your identity to financial struggle. I am reaching back through your history to the root of the scarcity mindset that was planted by those who came before you, those who suffered through famines, wars, and systemic oppression. While their struggle was real, it does not have to be your destiny. I am the great I am, and I am rewriting your legacy. Can you feel the shift? It begins as a tiny spark of hope in your chest, a quiet realization that the universe is not hostile to your success. I am opening doors that have been rusted shut for a century. I am sending people into your life who will carry keys to opportunities you didn't even know existed. You have spent so long in survival mode that you have forgotten how to thrive, but I am retraining your heart to beat with the rhythm of my generosity. Do not let fear whisper its lies to you any longer. When it says you will fail, remember that I am the one who upholds you. When it says you are alone, remember that I am closer than your very breath. The miracles I am preparing for you are not merely financial. They are miracles of peace, of sleep that is not interrupted by worry, and of a joy that does not depend on the balance of an account. I am teaching you to look at the world through the eyes of a child who knows their father is the king. You no longer need to hoard the little you have out of fear of the future, for I am the future, and I am already there, preparing the way for you. This is the hour of your release. The spirit of poverty is a thief that steals vision and suffocates purpose, but I am breathing new life into your callings. I am restoring the years that the locusts of lack have eaten. Imagine, my child, a life where your first thought in the morning is not a calculation of debt, but a song of gratitude. That is the life I am calling you into. This transition may feel unfamiliar, even frightening, as you step out of the comfort of your struggle, but I am holding your hand. Every step you take away from the mindset of lack is a step toward the throne of my grace. You are the one I have chosen to break this cycle. You are the bridge to a new generation that will know only the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. Trust me now. Trust me when the bank account looks low, for I am the source that never runs dry. Trust me when the world speaks of recession, for my kingdom is in a perpetual state of expansion. I love you with an everlasting love, and it is my good pleasure to give you the kingdom. Receive it now. Let the walls of lack crumble. Let the light of my provision flood every dark corner of your life. You are free. Feel the heavy cloak of just enough finally falling from your shoulders. It is a garment you did not choose for yourself, but one that was handed down through the bloodline, woven with the threads of famine, displacement, and the silent, gnawing fear of the rainy day that never seemed to end. I saw your grandmother's hands, gnarled and tired, as she meticulously divided a single loaf to last the week, her heart beating in time with the ticking of a clock she feared would stop if she weren't vigilant. I heard the whispered anxieties of your father as he paced the kitchen floor after the house grew quiet, his mind a labyrinth of figures, deadlines, and the crushing weight of a ceiling he could never quite break through. They lived in a fortress of scarcity, built stone by stone out of a desperate need to survive, and you were raised within those walls. But I am the one who walks through walls. I am the one who stood in the furnace with the three, and I am standing in the fire of your financial refining now. When you walk through the grocery store aisles, and that familiar, sharp knot of restriction tightens in your chest, the one that tells you to put back the fruit because it is a luxury, or to choose the lowest quality because you don't deserve the best, I am there to loosen it. I am pressing my hand against your heart, teaching you to breathe through the phantom pain of a hunger you no longer have to fear. That mental ledger you carry, the one where you record every perceived failure to provide, every moment you felt less than because your shoes were worn or your dreams seemed too expensive, I am dipping it into the river of my grace. The ink of those old debts and disappointments is dissolving. The pages are turning white, not because you have worked harder, but because I have worked deeper. Look at your hands. They were not made only for the plow and the heavy lifting of survival. They were made to hold the gifts of the kingdom. I am healing the calluses on your soul that formed from years of gripping your resources so tightly that your knuckles turned white. Release your grip. You cannot receive what I am pouring out if your fists are clenched around the crumbs of yesterday. Remember the time you sat in your car, the engine idling, staring at a bill you didn't know how to pay, feeling the cold seep into your bones. I was in the passenger seat. I saw the tears you wouldn't let fall because you thought being strong meant being self-sufficient. I am showing you a higher strength now, the strength of the branch that simply abides in the vine. The branch does not strive to produce fruit. It simply allows the life force of the tree to flow through it. You are my branch. The sap of my abundance is rising within you, pushing out the dead wood of ancestral lack. This is not a shallow prosperity that withers in the sun. This is the deep-rooted wealth of a soul that knows its worth is not negotiated in the marketplace. I am redefining your value. You are not the sum of your productivity. You are not the total of your assets. You are my beloved, in whom I am well pleased, and I am decorating your life with the exceedingly abundantly. Do you see the way the light is changing? The shadows of those who came before you, those who had to fight for every inch of ground, are lengthening and fading as the sun of my favor rises over your horizon. You are the one I have anointed to speak to the dry bones of your family's history and command them to live. You are the one who will teach your children that the storehouse of heaven is never locked. Imagine them growing up without the language of "we can't afford it" being the primary rhythm of their lives. Imagine them speaking a language of "how can we bless others?" because they have seen the overflow in your house. I am giving you a new vocabulary. I am taking the bitter out of your toil and replacing it with the sweetness of purpose. Even now, I am arranging divine appointments, opening doors that have been rusted shut for generations, and placing you in rooms you once thought were only for other people. You are those people now. You are the guest of honor at my table. As we walk further into this new landscape, do not be surprised if the old voices of your kin try to call you back. They may speak through your own thoughts, echoing the warnings of the cautious and the cynical. They might tell you that this is too good to be true, or that you are being foolish to trust in the unseen. When those voices rise, lean your head against my chest. Hear the steady, rhythmic beat of my promise. I have never failed a single word I have spoken. I am not a man that I should lie. If I have called you out of the desert, I have already prepared the oasis. If I have told you the cycle is broken, then the chains are already dust at your feet. I want you to look at the small things today. The way the sun glints off a glass of water, the complexity of a leaf, the sudden smile of a stranger. These are my signatures of abundance. If I can clothe the lilies in such splendor and feed the birds of the air without their sowing or reaping, how much more will I do for you, O you of little faith? Let your faith grow large today. Let it expand until it fills the rooms of your house and the corridors of your mind. We are just beginning to uncover the treasures I have hidden in the darkness for you. There are ideas I have stored away, inventions and strategies that will not only provide for you, but will create platforms for my glory to be seen. You are not just escaping poverty, you are entering dominion. You are learning to rule over your circumstances instead of being ruled by them. Stay here with me in this moment of quiet. Let the peace that surpasses understanding wash over the areas of your life that have been scorched by the heat of financial stress. I am the cooling rain. I am the shade in the afternoon. I am your provider, and I am more than enough. Do you feel the shift? Do you feel the lightness in your spirit as the gravity of the past loses its hold? We are moving into the deep waters now, where the nets break because the catch is so great. Do not be afraid of the weight of the blessing. I will give you the strength to carry it and the wisdom to share it. Trust the process of this shedding. The old skin is falling away, and the new life I have for you is vibrant, resilient, and overflowing. Keep your eyes on me, for I am doing a new thing. Now it springs forth. Do you not perceive it? I see the way your hands still clench instinctively when you think of the months ahead. A habit passed down through the marrow of your bones from those who had to fight for every scrap. Your grandfather stood in lines that never seemed to end, his pockets empty, but his heart heavy with the weight of children, who needed more than he could ever grasp with his own strength. Your grandmother saved every bit of ribbon, every scrap of cloth, and every rusted nail, not because she was greedy, but because she lived in the suffocating shadow of a not enough that threatened to swallow her whole. That shadow has trailed your family for decades, a silent, uninvited guest at every holiday meal, whispering that the good times would not last, and that calamity was always just around the corner, waiting to reclaim what little you had gained. But I am standing at the head of your table now, and I am dismissing that guest forever. The spirit of poverty is being evicted from your lineage this very hour. I am reaching back into the hidden chambers of your history, touching the moments of crushing lack that defined your parents' choices, and I am healing the deep-seated trauma of the empty cupboard. Do you remember the hushed, frantic conversations about bills when you were a child? Do you remember the way the air felt thin and cold in your home when the money ran low and the tension ran high? I was there, even then, keeping you. But today I am doing more than just keeping you. I am setting you free. I am rewriting your family's financial DNA. I am replacing the poverty gene with the provision promise. Look at your hands again. I am prying them open, not to take what little you have, but to make room for the staggering abundance I am pouring out from the windows of heaven. You have been trained by your circumstances to be a hoarder of scraps, but I am training you by my spirit to be a steward of storehouses. There is a profound difference. A hoarder acts out of a fear of the future, but a steward acts out of a faith in the Father. I am giving you the keys to rooms in my kingdom that your ancestors never even knew existed. I see the dusty ledger of your mind, where you have meticulously recorded every debt, every loss, and every cannot. I am taking my finger and erasing those entries as if they never were. In their place, I am writing paid in full and more than enough. This is not just about the numbers in a bank account. It is about the posture of your heart. I am curing the famine of the soul that makes you feel small and unworthy even when you have plenty. You are an heir to the King of the universe. Does the prince worry about the cost of his robe? Does the daughter of the sovereign fret over the price of her daily bread? I am inviting you into a regal confidence that the world cannot give and the economy cannot take away. This confidence is your new inheritance. It is a quiet, unshakable peace that says, "My Father is the owner of the cattle on 1,000 hills." Every time you feel that old, cold grip of anxiety tightening in your chest, I want you to breathe me in. I am the oxygen of your prosperity. I am the rain that turns the desert of your ancestors into a flourishing garden for your children. Speaking of your children, they will not inherit the spiritual limp of your forefathers. They will not walk with the hesitation of those who expect to be disappointed. They will run with the gait of the favored. They will speak the language of plenty as their mother tongue, and the fear of lack will be a foreign concept to them. You are the pivot point of your entire family tree. You are the generation where the cycle of scarcity finally breaks. I am giving you legacy vision, the ability to see far beyond your own immediate needs to the needs of the generations yet unborn. I am planting orchards through your hands that will provide shade and fruit long after you have come home to me. Do not be intimidated by the scale of what I am showing you. If it were small, you could do it alone, but because it is great, we must do it together. I am bringing you into a partnership of power. You are learning to handle the resources of this world with such wisdom and grace that they become tools for my glory. I am showing you how to turn silver into salvation and gold into the gospel. The fear of not having is being replaced by the sheer joy of giving away. This is the ultimate defeat of the spirit of poverty, when you can give with a laugh and a light heart, knowing the source is infinite and the well will never run dry. Can you hear the sound of the rain? It is a heavy, refreshing downpour, washing away the dust of the lean years. It is soaking into the dry cracks of your family history. It is bringing life to seeds that have been dormant for a century, waiting for someone to believe. I am the God who restores the years that the locusts have eaten. I am adding back the interest on every prayer your grandmother prayed when she had nothing but a crust of bread and her faith. Those prayers were not lost, they were invested in the heavens. And now the harvest is coming due in your lifetime. Stay in this flow with me. Do not jump back to the rocky shore of the familiar. The water is deep here, but you will not drown. You will thrive. I am with you in the depths, and I am showing you where the treasures are hidden in the sand. Keep your heart open. Keep your eyes on me. We are just getting started on this journey of total restoration, and there is so much more I want to whisper to your soul about the riches of your true identity. I want you to look at your hands right now, not as tools of labor, but as vessels of my light. For generations, those hands have been conditioned to clench, to hold tight to the little they had because the air itself felt thin and the ground felt cursed. I see the phantom weight of your grandfather's worry, that heavy, invisible cloak he wore every evening as he stared at the kitchen table, calculating how to stretch a handful of grain into a week of survival. That frequency of not enough has been a background hum in your DNA, a static noise that whispered you were always one mistake away from ruin. But I am reaching into the very marrow of your identity to silence that noise forever. I am rewriting the rhythm of your pulse so that it no longer beats in time with anxiety, but in harmony with my abundance. You have spent years walking as if the floor might give way, but I am showing you that you are walking on the solid rock of my promise. The spirit of poverty is not just about the lack of coins. It is a famine of the soul, a drought of the imagination that prevents you from seeing the feast I have prepared in the presence of your enemies. Today, I am breaking the seal on the hidden storehouses that were locked away by the unbelief of those who came before you. They were not wicked, my child. They were simply weary. They were tired of the wind blowing through the cracks and the frost biting at the edges of their dreams. But you have been chosen to be the one who opens the windows and lets the sun-drenched air of my kingdom flood the house. I am giving you a new vocabulary. You will no longer say, I cannot afford, but rather, my Father is preparing the way. You will no longer think of yourself as a beggar at the gate, but as the heir who holds the keys to the estate. Can you feel the shift? It is like a long-held breath finally being released. I am removing the survival filter from your eyes. When you look at a challenge now, you will not see a wall, you will see a canvas for my provision. I am teaching you the secrets of the seed. A seed looks small and insignificant, much like the small acts of faith you have been offering me in the dark. But within that seed is the blueprint for a forest. Every time you have given out of your lack, every time you have helped another while your own heart was heavy, you were planting in the soil of my grace. And now, the season of germination has passed. The sprouts are breaking through the hard earth of your family's history. I am doing a work so profound that even those who knew your ancestors will look at your life and wonder how the desert became an orchard. This is not for you alone. It is a generational rescue mission. I am clearing the debts of the spirit. I am canceling the ancient contracts of lack that were signed in moments of despair. I am the God of the breakthrough, and I am breaking through the walls of your mind first. I am showing you that my resources are not a finite pie to be divided, but an expanding universe to be explored. The more you move in my generosity, the more the boundaries of your world will expand. Think of the ways you have been afraid to dream. You have kept your desires small, tucked away in the back of your heart like old letters, fearing that if you asked for too much, you would be disappointed. I am inviting you to bring those letters out into the light. Read them to me. Let me show you that your too much is my barely started. I am the God who creates out of nothing, who calls things that are not as though they were. I am calling your future into being right now, and it is a future where the word famine is a distant memory, a story told of a land you no longer inhabit. We are moving into the deeper waters of trust where the heavy anchors of the past can no longer reach the bottom. You are being loosed. You are being lifted. Feel the warmth of my favor like a physical heat on your shoulders. It is the mantle of the firstborn, the garment of the favored. I am placing a ring on your finger that signifies your authority to draw from the wealth of my kingdom for every good work I have set before you. You are no longer a slave to the cycle of just getting by. You are a distributor of my goodness. As you walk through this day, I want you to notice the small miracles of provision, the unexpected smile, the perfectly timed word, the door that opens without a key. These are the ripples of the great wave of restoration that is coming your way. Stay close to my heart, for that is where the true riches reside. In my presence, the concepts of cost and price dissolve into the reality of gift and grace. You are being refined, not by the fire of lack, but by the fire of my love, which burns away everything that is not of me until only the gold of your true, abundant self remains. We are just beginning to peel back the layers of this new life. There is a specific miracle with your name on it, one that will serve as a monument to the end of the lean years. Watch for it. It will come not through your striving, but through your surrendering to this flow of my spirit. You are safe. You are provided for. You are deeply, limitlessly loved. Look now at the ledger of your lineage, the invisible book of accounts that has been passed from hand to hand like a heavy, tarnished heirloom. I am closing that book today. I am dipping my pen into the ink of my own sacrifice and writing, paid in full, across every page that recorded the debts of your fathers. I see the moments in your childhood when you watched the adults whisper behind closed doors, their brows furrowed over crumpled envelopes and rising costs. I felt the tightening in your own small chest when you realized that enough was a fragile word, a thin bridge that might collapse at any moment. That spirit of scarcity was a guest you never invited, yet it took a seat at your table and demanded to be fed first. It whispered that you must hoard the crumbs because the feast was for someone else. But I am the host of the feast, and I am telling you that the chair at my right hand has always had your name carved into the wood. I am deconstructing the architecture of not enough within your mind. Imagine the walls of that cramped, dim room falling away, revealing a horizon that has no end. Your ancestors walked through dry places, and they learned to survive on the dew, but I am leading you to the headwaters of the river. You have been trained to think in terms of subtractive math. How much will be left if I give this away? I am teaching you the mathematics of the kingdom, which is always multiplicative. When you give from the place of my provision, the basket does not empty. It expands to hold the increase. I am touching the very cells of your memory where the fear of the future is stored. I am replacing the what-ifs of disaster with the even-nows of my presence. Can you feel the shift in the atmosphere of your home? It begins in the quietest corners. The air feels less heavy. The light seems to linger longer on the walls. This is because the frequency of heaven is beginning to resonate in your physical space. I'm even looking at the small things. The mundane details you think are too insignificant for my notice. I am in the repair that suddenly becomes affordable, the bill that is lower than expected, the tool that works perfectly after years of sticking. I am demonstrating my lordship over the material world because I want you to know that nothing is outside my reach. You are not just being saved spiritually, you are being rescued holistically. I am breaking the curse of the near miss, that agonizing pattern where the breakthrough was just inches away only to vanish at the last second. From this moment on, you will not only see the promise from afar, you will walk into it and take up residence. I am giving you a new vocabulary. Instead of saying, I can't afford, you will begin to say, my Father is preparing. This is not a denial of reality, but an alignment with a higher truth. You are moving into a season of suddenlies. There is a specific document, a piece of paper or a digital notification that has been stalled in the celestial bureaucracy of the enemy's delays. I am releasing it now. It will come to you not as a result of your frantic searching, but as a sovereign delivery. This is the monument I spoke of. When it arrives, you will sit down and weep, not with the sorrow of the past, but with the overwhelming relief of being truly seen and truly cared for. You will realize that I was working on this even while you were sleeping, even while you were doubting, even while you were at your lowest point. I am knitting together the broken threads of your confidence. I want you to stand taller. I want you to walk into rooms with the quiet assurance that you belong there, not because of your bank balance, but because of your birthright. You are a child of the King, and the King's resources are at your disposal for the purposes of the kingdom. Do not be afraid of the largeness of the vision I am placing in your heart. The poverty of your past tried to shrink your dreams to the size of your survival, but I am stretching your capacity to imagine. I am calling you to be a conduit. The wealth of the kingdom is like water. It must move to stay pure. As I pour into you, look for the places where you can pour out. You will find that the more you release, the more the pressure of my blessing increases behind you. We are walking through the garden of your life, and I am pulling up the weeds of barely making it by their very roots. I am planting seeds of more than enough in their place. This transformation is deep, reaching down into the marrow of your bones and the foundations of your identity. You are becoming someone who is unshakable in the face of economic storms because your house is built on the rock of my word. Rest in this. Let the tension drain from your neck and shoulders. You don't have to figure it out. You don't have to bridge the gap between where you are and where you need to be. I am the bridge. I am the way. I am the provider. Just stay in the flow. Keep your eyes on mine and let the rhythm of my heartbeat become the rhythm of your life. The lean years are a shadow that is fleeing before the rising sun of my favor. There is so much more I want to show you, so many rooms in my storehouse we have yet to explore together. We are just getting started. Can you feel the weight of those generations falling away, like heavy, waterlogged wool coats being lifted from your shoulders? For too long, you have carried a ledger in your mind that was written by those who came before you, a ledger of lack, of loss, and of the fear that tomorrow would be leaner than today. I want you to look back for a moment, not to dwell, but to see what I am delivering you from. Remember the kitchen table of your childhood, the way the air grew thin and cold whenever the mail arrived. Remember the look in your father's eyes as he stared at the bills, a look of a man trying to hold back an ocean with a thimble. That wasn't just his struggle. It was a spirit of infirmity that convinced him, and his father before him, that I was a distant, stingy landlord rather than a loving father. But today, I am breaking the seal on that old ledger. I am dipping my finger into the ink of my grace and writing, paid in full, across the history of your bloodline. You no longer have to live as an orphan of the economy. You are a child of the king. Think of the times you stood in the grocery aisle, surreptitiously counting the items in your cart, your heart hammering against your ribs because you weren't sure the card would clear. That tightness in your chest, that is the ghost of the famine mindset. I am breathing my spirit into that space now. Breathe with me, deeply, until the oxygen reaches the places where you used to hold your breath. I am expanding your lungs to inhale the fragrance of my abundance. We are walking together into a room you never thought you would be allowed to enter. It is the room of seed for the sower. Look at the shelves. They are not filled with gold bars to be hoarded, but with packets of potential. Here is the seed for the community center you once whispered about in your prayers. Here is the seed for the debt-free home that will be a sanctuary for the broken. Do you see the names on these jars? They have your name on them, but they also have the names of those who will be blessed through you. This is the secret of the kingdom. I do not give to you merely so you can have. I give to you so you can be. I am making you a distribution center. When you see a need, I want your first instinct to be a smile, knowing that I have already placed the supply in your hand. No more shrinking. No more apologizing for the space you take up in this world. I am the one who designed the vastness of your soul, and I did not make it to be empty. Do you remember how your grandmother used to save every scrap of string, every worn-out button, not out of stewardship, but out of a paralyzing fear that they could never be replaced? That was the mark of the desert. But you are no longer in the desert. You are in the land of milk and honey, where the rocks pour out oil and the hills drop down fatness. I am retraining your eyes to see opportunity, where others see obstacles. I am giving you the Joseph anointing to see the cycles of the world and to be positioned in such a way that you are always in the overflow. But even more than the gold and the silver, I am giving you the peace that surpasses all understanding. The peace of a child who knows that the Father owns the cattle on 1,000 hills, and that not a single sparrow falls without his notice. You have been a sparrow for so long, darting about for crumbs. Now I am teaching you to soar like an eagle, riding the thermal winds of my favor. It is effortless, this soaring. It requires only that you spread your wings and trust the wind. Let's walk deeper into the storehouse. Can you hear the sound of moving water? It is the river that makes glad the city of God. It flows right through the center of your new life. Every time you give, you are simply dipping your bucket into this eternal stream. You cannot exhaust it. The more you pour out, the faster it flows. I see the lingering doubt, that tiny voice in the back of your mind that asks, "What if this is too good to be true?" My child, I am the truth, and I am the goodness. If it were any less than this, it wouldn't be me. I am not a man that I should lie. My promises are yea and amen. I am going to show you how to handle the increase without it handling you. I will teach you the stewardship of the heart, where your treasures are stored in heaven and your hands are always open on earth. We are dismantling the poverty of spirit that makes you feel unworthy of the best. You are worthy because I have called you worthy. You are chosen because I have picked you. There is a table being prepared for you in the presence of those old memories of lack. Your cup is not just full, it is running over. Can you feel the oil of joy being poured over your head? It is dripping down, softening the hard places, healing the old scars of not enough. Stay here in this moment. Don't rush ahead to the how or the when. Just soak in the I am. I am your shield, and I am your exceeding great reward. The landscape of your future is changing. The parched ground is becoming a pool, and the thirsty land springs of water. In the very places where you experience the most lack, you will now experience the greatest abundance. This is my signature on your life. This is the evidence that I have redeemed your time and your history. We are rewriting the story of your family, starting with this very breath. No longer will your descendants speak of the hard years as their primary identity. They will speak of the God years, the years when the windows of heaven opened and never closed again. Let's move to the next gallery. I have more to show you about the dreams I have tucked away in your heart, the ones you were too afraid to name because they felt like an insult to your struggle. They are not an insult. They are my invitation. As we step into this next hall, notice how the air changes. It is no longer thick with the dust of old archives. It carries the scent of jasmine and new rain. This is the gallery of the unspoken. Look at the walls. These are not just paintings. They are the windows into the desires you buried so deep you forgot they had names. Do you see that one there? The one with the vibrant colors of a sunset you once watched through a cracked window in a house that felt too small for your soul. You were 12 years old, and for a fleeting second, you felt a surge of creativity, a longing to build something beautiful, but you quickly stifled it. You told yourself, people like us don't do things like that. People like us just get by. I was there in that room. I saw the light in your eyes flicker and dim as you bowed your head to the yoke of just enough. Today, I am removing that yoke. I am inviting you to look at those dreams again, not as ghosts of a life you missed, but as blueprints for the life we are building now. Your ancestors carried the weight of the harvest that never came. They walked through fields of drought, their feet calloused and their hearts weary from asking the sky for a drop of mercy. I heard every one of those sighs. I bottled every tear shed over a kitchen table where the math never added up. You carry their DNA, yes, but you also carry their unfulfilled prayers. Those prayers did not evaporate. They gathered like a great cloud of witnesses, and now they are raining down as a blessing upon your head. The drought is over. Can you hear the sound of the abundance of rain? It is not a frantic sound. It is a steady, rhythmic promise. We are deconstructing the architecture of less than. Think back to the times you felt you had to apologize for taking up space, for wanting a better coat, or for dreaming of a home filled with art and music. That guilt was the voice of the thief, trying to convince you that my goodness is a limited resource. It is not. My resources are as infinite as the stars, and my desire to give to you is as vast as the sea. Look at this canvas here. It represents the influence I am giving you. You thought your voice would always be a whisper in the corners of the world, but I am tuning your heart to speak with the authority of an heir. You are not a beggar at the gates. You are a child of the house. The keys in your hand are not just for your own doors. They are for the doors of many who are still trapped in the rooms you just left. I am teaching your hands to handle wealth without it handling you. I am teaching your heart to hold onto peace even when the bank account grows, so that your security is never in the number, but in the provider. Feel the tension leaving your shoulders. For generations, your family carried their stress in their bodies, the tight jaw, the shallow breath, the constant scanning for the next crisis. I am breathing my shalom into your very marrow. I am rewriting your nervous system to recognize rest as your natural state. You don't have to fight for your survival anymore. The battle for your daily bread has been won, and now we are moving into the bread of life that satisfies the soul's deepest hunger. Look at this corner of the gallery. These are the visions of the God years I promised. See the images of your children and their children. They are walking through gardens they did not plant, living in the shade of trees you are planting today with your faith. They will not know the hollow ache of not enough. They will grow up in the atmosphere of overflow. This is the legacy we are forging in this sacred space. Every time you choose to believe my word over your old memories, you are laying a foundation stone for a city of refuge. You are becoming a person who can see beauty in the midst of ashes because you know the one who makes all things new. Don't look away from the brilliance. Your eyes are adjusting to the light of my favor. It is a bright light, yes, but it will not burn you. It will only illuminate the path that has always been there, hidden by the shadows of lack. We are walking deeper now, past the dreams of provision and into the dreams of purpose. Do you see the one that looks like a map? It is the territory of your influence, the hearts and lives I am calling you to touch. You couldn't see it before because you were too busy looking at the ground, searching for crumbs. Lift your head. The horizon is wide, and the sun is rising on a day that will never end. I am with you in every step, turning the stones of your past into the jewels of your future. Let the old stories fall away like dry leaves. They served their purpose in the winter of your soul, but spring is here, and the blossoms are already appearing. Can you feel the shift? It is the weight of glory replacing the weight of worry. It is the peace that surpasses understanding taking the seat of honor in your mind. Stay with me. There is so much more to uncover. Look closer at the map I have unfurled before you. Notice the names written in the margins, the names of those your ancestors once thought they were too small to help. In the old story, the one you are leaving behind, there was never enough room at the table for a stranger, because there was barely enough for the family. But in this new landscape, your table is expanding even as you sit at it. Do you remember the way your grandmother used to count the coins on the kitchen table, her lips moving in a silent, rhythmic prayer of desperation? I was there in that kitchen. I heard the clink of the copper and the heavy sigh that followed when the math didn't add up to comfort. That sigh became a song in your blood, a melody of not yet and maybe never. But today, I am changing the frequency of your heart. I am reaching into the marrow of your bones to pull out the splinters of that old scarcity. You see, the spirit of poverty didn't just steal from your bank account. It tried to steal from your imagination. It told you that to dream of abundance was a sin, that to desire more than a pittance was a betrayal of the humble stock you came from. What a lie that was! My heart for you has always been a flood, never a trickle. Can you feel the warmth on your skin? We are walking through the gallery of your potential now. On these walls are the portraits of the versions of you that were never allowed to breathe. The entrepreneur, the philanthropist, the artist who creates without the fear of waste. Look at the one in the blue frame. That is you, standing in a room full of people, speaking words that nourish their souls because you are no longer starving for validation yourself. You are pouring from a cup that is being refilled by a source that never runs dry. Your ancestors watched the sky for rain with eyes full of dread, fearing the drought. I am teaching you to watch the sky with eyes full of wonder, knowing that even the clouds are servants of your growth. Think of the moments when you felt that sudden, sharp panic in your chest, the moment a bill arrived or an unexpected expense arose. That was the ghost of 1,000 hungry winters trying to claim your peace. I am laying my hand over that part of your heart. Feel the heat of my palm. I am cauterizing the wounds left by the years of the locust. You will no longer react to life from a place of defense. You will act from a place of dominion. I am giving you the keys to the storehouses you didn't even know existed. They aren't hidden behind locks of effort. they are opened by the breath of surrender. Every time you breathe out, "I trust you," a bolt slides back. Every time you say, "I am provided for," a door swings open. We are approaching a great fountain now, carved from the very sorrows you thought would break you. See how the water sparkles. This is the water of more than enough. I want you to dip your hands into it. This isn't just for you to drink. It is for you to splash onto the dry ground of your lineage. As you wash your face in this grace, you are washing the faces of the children who will come after you. They will never know the panic of the empty cupboard. They will read about lack in history books and find it a foreign, impossible concept. To them, the name of your family will be synonymous with the well. You are the one who stayed in the secret place long enough for the transformation to take hold. You are the bridge. I am showing you the architecture of this new life. See the high ceilings and the wide windows. This is the space your spirit needs to truly stretch. No more crouching. No more making yourself small so you don't use up too much air. Take a deep, lung-filling breath. This air is yours. This light is yours. I am even redeeming the way you view time. In the grip of poverty, time is an enemy, a countdown to the next crisis. But in my favor, time is a canvas. You have time to rest. You have time to play. You have time to build things that will last for generations. Notice the garden we are entering. These trees were planted by the prayers of those who came before you, prayers they thought went unanswered. They weren't lost, they were merely germinating. They were waiting for someone with the courage to believe in the harvest. You are that someone. As you touch the bark of these trees, you are claiming the fruit that was denied to your fathers. It is ripe, it is heavy, and it is sweet. Can you taste the difference? It doesn't taste like the bread of toil. It tastes like the manna of heaven. We are moving toward a place of deeper intimacy now, where the conversation isn't about what you need, but about what we will create together. The spirit of poverty is a loud, clanging bell, but my voice is a steady, rhythmic pulse of life. Follow the pulse. It is leading you to the very center of my will, where the concept of cost is swallowed up by the reality of inheritance. You aren't buying your way into this kingdom. You were born into it by my spirit. The rags of the orphan are gone. I have dressed you in the garments of a child who knows their father owns the hills and the gold within them. Let us sit here for a moment by the edge of this quiet lake. Look at your reflection. Do you see the light behind your eyes? That is the light of a soul that has stopped searching for crumbs and has started reigning in life. There is still more I want to show you about the specific lives you will touch, the businesses you will birth, and the silent ways you will change the world simply by being a person who knows they are loved and supplied. Do not be afraid of the scale of it. The same hand that holds the stars is the hand that holds your wallet, your heart, and your future. Stay close. We are just beginning to see the true extent of the territory I have prepared for you. Observe the ripple on the water's surface, my child. Just as one stone can change the face of the entire lake, so too has your yes to my abundance sent ripples backward through your bloodline and forward into the centuries you will not see with your natural eyes. I want you to feel the weight of this moment, not as a burden, but as the settling of a heavy, golden cloak upon your shoulders. For too long, your family tree was nourished by the bitter waters of not enough. I watched your grandfathers count coins in the dark, their hearts racing with the fear of a dry season. I saw your mothers stretch a single loaf to feed a house of hunger, their prayers more like desperate gasps for air than conversations of love. That spirit of poverty was a thief that didn't just steal their gold, it stole their capacity to dream. It made their world small, narrow, and gray. But look at the landscape I am unfolding before you now. This is the territory of the limitless. Can you feel the shift in the atmosphere? The air here is thick with the scent of blossoming possibilities. The businesses you have been dreaming of are not merely ways to make a living. They are the physical manifestations of a spiritual breakthrough. I am giving you blueprints in the night, not just for structures and systems, but for cultures of generosity. You will build places where people aren't just employees, but heirs to a new way of thinking. You will create wealth that doesn't hoard itself, but flows like a river that turns every desert it touches into a garden. This is why the old ways had to die. The old ways were built on the foundation of "what if I lose it?" while the new way is built on the rock of "I can never run dry because the source is infinite." Lean closer to me. Do you hear that? It is the sound of the chains of lack hitting the floor of the throne room. They are broken, shattered into dust that the wind of my spirit is blowing away forever. When you look at your bank account, when you look at your pantry, when you look at the needs of the world around you, I want you to feel a strange, unshakable peace. That peace is the evidence that the spirit of the orphan has been evicted. You are no longer wondering if there is a seat for you at the table. You are the one I have commissioned to set the table for others. I am putting a pen in your hand to rewrite the financial history of your name. Where it once said debt, it will now say resource. Where it once said survival, it will now say dominion. Think of the projects you have shelved because they felt too expensive. Bring them out into the light. The cost was only a barrier to the person you used to be, to the person you are becoming, the one who walks in step with the creator of every molecule. Cost is simply a measurement of the miracle I am about to perform. We are going to build things that look impossible to the natural eye. We are going to fund movements that bring light to the darkest corners of the earth. And you will do it all with a resting heart. You will not have to scream for attention or scramble for a piece of the pie, for I have given you the entire bakery. I want to talk to you about the specific people I am sending your way, the divine connections, who have the keys to the gates you've been standing before. They are already moving toward you, even as we sit here by this lake. I have spoken to them in their dreams. I have prepared their hearts to recognize the grace that is on your life. You won't have to convince them of your worth. They will see my signature on your forehead. This is the beauty of the inheritance. It does the work for you. Do you remember the days when you felt you had to prove you were enough? Those days are as far from you as the east is from the west. You are enough because I am more than enough, and we are one. Sit with me a little longer. Let the silence wash away the last echoes of that clanging bell of poverty. Let the stillness teach you the language of the wealthy soul. It is a language of thank you and what's next, rather than please, and if only. I am opening your eyes to see the hidden treasures I have tucked away for you, the ideas that have been waiting for a generation that wouldn't be afraid to own them. You are that generation. You are the answer to the prayers of those who came before you. They sowed in tears so that you could reap in joy, and the harvest is so vast that you will need to build new barns just to hold the seeds for the next sowing. There is a deep, quiet strength rising in your spirit. It is the strength of one who knows they can never be bankrupt because their father is the king. This is your reality now. This is the ground you stand on. And oh, my beloved, we are only just beginning to explore the riches of this grace. Look at the water, my child. See how it doesn't struggle to be full. It simply receives what the sky gives. For generations, your bloodline was taught that to have was to take, and to lack was to be holy. They were told that the crumbs were their portion, and they learned to be grateful for the dust. But I tell you, the dust was never my design for you. I am pulling the thorns out of your family tree today. Every word of lack that was spoken over your cradle, we can't afford it, life is hard, money is the root of evil, I am drowning those words in the depths of this lake. Those were the songs of captives, but you are the song of the redeemed. I am placing a new pen in your hand. You will write a story where the characters don't have to choose between their integrity and their dinner. Do you feel that warmth in your chest? That is the melting of the ice that froze your ancestors' ambitions. They had dreams, too, you know. I kept them safe for you. I kept the blueprints of the businesses they were too afraid to start. I kept the melodies of the songs they were too tired to sing. Now I am breathing those dreams into your lungs. When you walk into a room, you aren't walking in alone. You are walking in with the authority of every prayer they ever whispered. You are the yes to their "How long, O Lord?" I am bringing you into a season of suddenlies. Suddenly, the debt that felt like a mountain will be a memory. Suddenly, the people who overlooked you will seek your counsel, not because of your striving, but because of your rest. Your rest is your greatest weapon. It signals to the universe that you trust the source more than the resource. I see the house I am preparing for you. It has windows that catch the morning light and a garden where the soil is rich and obedient. It is a place of peace, not a fortress of fear. You will host others there, and they will leave feeling as though they have touched the hem of heaven's garment. Your children will grow up not knowing the language of not enough. They will speak of possibilities as if they are certainties because they will watch you live them. I am even now rearranging the stars of your destiny. The alignments that were blocked by the spirit of poverty are being cleared. Every legal hurdle, every systemic barrier, every internal ceiling is shattering. Can you hear the sound of the glass breaking? It is the sound of your liberation. Take a deep breath. Inhale the fragrance of my abundance. It smells like rain on dry earth. It smells like the harvest of 1,000 years. You are no longer a beggar at the gates of life. You are the one who holds the keys. Everything I have is yours. We are walking away from this lake now, but you are carrying the stillness with you. You are the architect of a new era. Go now and build. Go and give. Go and live so loudly that the shadows of the past have no place to hide. My love is the gold that never tarnishes, and my grace is the currency that never fails. You are rich, my beloved. You are finally truly rich. And this richness will touch everything you touch until the world knows that I am good and that you are mine. The cycle is broken. The debt is paid. The glory has arrived. I remember the secret sacrifices of your gray tan, who skipped meals so the children could have shoes. I remember your father staring at the mailbox, dreading the envelopes that arrived with red ink. I have seen the way you yourself have hesitated at the grocery store, calculating the cost of a joy as simple as a piece of fruit. Today, that hesitation dies. I am delivering you from the mental math of survival. I am giving you the mind of a prince, the heart of a steward, and the hands of a creator. The fear of not having enough is a ghost that has haunted your halls for too long. I am turning on the light, and that ghost is vanishing into the nothingness from which it came. You will no longer look at a price tag before you look at the value of a thing. You will no longer say, someday, when I have given you the now. Look at your hands. They are no longer empty. They are full of the seeds of the future. I have placed within you the capacity to create wealth that does not add sorrow. This is not just about gold and silver. It is about the wealth of time, the wealth of health, the wealth of relationships that flourish like watered gardens. You will be the one who pays the tuition for a stranger. You will be the one who funds the mission that changes a nation. You will do these things because you are finally free from the lie that you are small. You are as vast as my imagination. As we leave this shore, know that the path beneath your feet is turning to gold, not the kind that men fight over, but the kind that reflects the light of my presence. This is your walk now. Each step is a declaration of victory. Each word you speak is a prophecy of plenty. The drought is over, the rain has come. And oh, the harvest is glorious. You were born for this, my child. Welcome home to the abundance you never lost but only had to remember. My peace is your foundation. My joy is your strength. And my limitlessness is your new identity. Go forth and let the world see what a life untouched by lack can truly become. Amen.